Hello and welcome to my Schoology course. I am Isel Vizcaino, you already know me, and I'll be sharing with you guys what I did throughout this semester. I hope that you enjoy to see what I did, what I came up with, and also, obviously, if you have any question at the end, I'll be there with you guys so you can ask me, okay? So, as you already know, since you already done it too, we had to design a course that consisted of 10 classes. And, well, it was an ESP course, so we had to incorporate all the aspects we saw last semester and this semester with our professor. To start with, I'll show you my syllabus, and it's this one. So it was English for professional purposes, since it was focused on business English. And well, for the first class, I tried to do my syllabus similar to what we did with PAL last semester. It has functions and it has expressions. So I used a book that is called Business Result, and it consists of 6 books. It has the beginner level, pre-intermediate, intermediate. It has until advanced levels. So for my course, I use the upper intermediate and the advanced versions. So for the first class, the purpose of the class was to introduce yourself through email, exchange contact details. The second class, arranging to meet. The third one, participating in a decision-making meeting. Number 4, it's negotiating solutions. Class number 5 is discussing and evaluating performance. Class number 6, managing the discussion. Class number 7, problem solving and brainstorming ideas. Class number 8, reporting back on research. Class number 9, giving an impromptu presentation. And for the last perk of my course, they had to participate in a teleconference. So basically my whole course was to design meetings, to learn new expressions to use in meetings, and at the same time, at the end of the course, to take part in teleconference. So I'll show you what my course is about. So same as you guys, I first started with the welcome letter for the course. And for this, this is my welcome letter. As you can see, I share my email, I share my phone number in case you need something. And after that, I started to update my students with the syllabus, also how they could access the materials and the assignments for each week, and so on. So I created 10 folders. I tried to keep my folders color based, so it was easier for me and for my students to see them and notice them. So first, for the first class, something that is important to mention is that for all of my classes, I had 3 assignments for each one. So for example, for my first class, which took place on February 27, 2019, they had 3 assignments. The first one was to identify elements of an introduction email. Since it was introducing yourself, well, first they had to watch a video. It was attached as well, and they had to analyze from the 3 examples what they had in common, so they can get an idea of how they were going to write their own email. I'll show you really quickly if this thing wants to open up. I don't know why the internet is kind of slow. Actually, I don't have a slow connection, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna show them just like this without accessing to. Well, here it is, the link. Now, also I share with them a PowerPoint presentation. We had useful expressions to start, elaborate, and close an email. So they were examples I took from the internet, and I tried to summarize them into PowerPoint presentations so my students could have a better idea on how to write their own email. And at the end of the assignment, or the final product of this class, was to write their own email, introducing themselves and following what they did on the previous assignments. And well, for class number 2, it was, here it is, arranging to meet. So there was a first meeting they had to do. So for this class, I decided to have students build up their own agenda. They had to create a document and gather information from their co-workers, and that way they'll create their own agenda, and they will use obviously formal questions when they had to come up and decide on how they were going to create their agenda. And afterwards they created their own agenda. They were supposed to call the co-workers and arrange on a day to meet. And they had to use the following expressions such as, how about it's Wednesday? Are you free tomorrow? See you then. Catch you later. And they were supposed to record their phone calls and upload at least 3 videos with 3 different conversations, or in this case, send them to me, to my email. And for the last assignment for this class, they had to, once they were deciding on a date and the best schedule for the meeting and for all of them, they had to write down all the requirements that they needed for the meeting. And that was it for the second class. I noticed up until this point that I was incorporating technology, but not as I wanted to. So I wanted to make it a little bit better. And so I think there's like a contrast here going on to the third class. For this class, they were supposed to start, well, the purpose of this class was to participate in a decision-making meeting. Supposedly they had to meet with their co-workers and stuff. It was like a continuation. So for the first activity, they had to create their own flyer. I instructed them to use Canva, so they had to use the website in order to create their own flyer and make people come into this meeting. And I posted them an example of what they could do. Then they had to look for common problems to solve in companies. For example, I gave them a case where McDonald's had to change its menu to start selling in India, because over there in India, cow is seen as sacred, so they can't eat cow. And well, they had to do a PowerPoint presentation and send it to me. They had to use pictures and charts and stuff. And for the last activity, instead of doing the PowerPoint presentation, I'm sorry, they had to use Prezi and send the presentation to me, where they had to talk about what they were going to discuss at the meeting. And that was it for the third class. And now, regarding the fourth class, the objective was, or the function, negotiating solutions. So my 3 assignments were like this. The first one, they had to read an article and create a mind map. For this particular activity, they had to use a mind map using mindmap.com, which is a website. It's totally free. They had to create their accounts, and I gave them a reading that has 15 tactics for successful business negotiation, and they had to summarize it into a mind map. Then after that, they had to identify 3 companies around their city or in their city, and look for the common problems they had between them, and use a graphic organizer using graphicorganizer.net, and share it to their colleagues and receive feedback from them to see how they were doing so far. And for the last assignment, they were supposed to write an email to their boss negotiating solutions to their problems. For example, what they could do, what can they change to solve these problems. And I posted them picture with different key expressions or useful expressions for them to be implementing into their email for their boss. And now we have the 5th class. I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster because we don't have that much time left. It was discussing and evaluating performance. For this activity, first they had to brainstorm aspects for appraisal. Not a lot of people know how to be appraised or how to appraise people at the same time. So I shared with them this website which is called bubble.us or US, I don't know. And they had to create a brainstorm with this website. For the second assignment, they had to create a survey to apply it to their co-workers. which was Survey Nuts. That's a website. And they had to interview at least 10 co-workers, as you can see here. And I shared with them an example in case they were a little bit lost. And for the third part, they had to use, I don't remember, they had to analyze the data and create charts and report the findings on what they did after having the survey done. And I shared with them an example as well of what they could do. For the 6th class, okay, here it is. For this class, the function was managing the discussion, once again in a meeting. So the first activity was welcoming a new staff member. For this activity, they had to they had to send an audio to their to the new colleague, and they had to talk to them about different problems they have in the workplace and share it to them. And I wanted them to share it to me too, so that's why I put my number. And the second one, I uploaded an audio and they had to answer some comprehension questions and expressions. It was about a meeting and they had to identify 4 useful phrases, because for the third activity, they were supposed to video call me using Skype and kind of have a discussion in a meeting, and they had to manage it using the expressions they saw from the previous activity. So up to this point, as I told you, I've been trying to implement technology more, and I think that I kind of did it. For the 7th activity, they had to create a list of pros and cons regarding, I don't remember what, I'm gonna check right now. They had to create a list of pros and cons talking about, oh no, it was 10 tips for better pros and cons list, and I also shared with them a pros and cons list maker. For the second activity, they had to analyze a video, and they had to create, answer this worksheet, which was a video comprehension. And for the third activity, they had to participate once again. They had to use Pixton.com, and it's a website to create, I forgot the name, comics, and they can create the characters, the expressions, and everything. It's a really cool website if you want to check it. It's Pixton.com. For the 8th activity, my students had to, let's see, because as I told you, I don't know why my internet is kind of slow. It's not usually that slow. I'm gonna be opening these so you can be learning too. For the 8th class, first they had to do had to look for how to do a market research. For this class, they were going to go out and do some research for their own company. So they had to do a market research. So they watched a video on how to do it. Then they had to go out and do market research. And I wanted them to notice people's ages, gender, the rivals of the company, the traffic, everything, okay? And the reporting back on research. They were supposed to record a video of themselves and send it to me. I also shared with them a useful website. For the 9th class, they had to do a Venn diagram about preparation. Then, to give impromptu presentations. Then for the second one, discussion questions about impromptu presentations, and the third one, giving an impromptu presentation. I can't go over the websites or the apps I use because of the time. I only have like 1 minute more, and that's it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go over them with you in the class. And for the last class, it was a teleconference. As I told you, that was the last part of the course. So I gave them tips on how to do teleconferences. Then I asked them to watch and analyze one, and at the end they had to participate in one using a really useful website that I don't know if you're able to see it. Well, it's here. It's called Free Conference Call, where you arrange to meet, and it's better than Skype because it has more quality, and well, I think that it will be better for them to use this website. So I'm sorry for being so quick, but I had to do it because of the time, and thank you.